Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mindset Monday. My name's Sally Garozzo, and this is the place to be to get inspiration and motivation on how to live a happier and more fulfilled life. So what could be better than that? So today I want to help you to define what type of eater you are, so that you can really deeply begin to understand where it comes from and understand it so that you have the power to change it, because food can really rule our lives if we're not careful. And I've worked with a lot of clients who have real issues around food, and so I really think it's so important to understand yourself, and it's important because it brings real awareness to your habits and awareness to your behaviours as well. And when you know what you're doing, you have the power to change it if you choose to. And you have the power to do things differently. So this model of defining what type of eater you are was developed by none other than my favourite teacher of them all, Marisa Peer. She's the lady who I've trained with to do my RTT. And she has masses of experience with working with people who are overweight and have real issues and struggles around eating. And people, the struggle is real, let me tell you, because food is so readily available. It's so easy to get hold of. We have to eat every day. It's not like we can completely abstain from food. So it's a struggle to get it in moderation and to get it right when it is all around us all of the time. And I am highly passionate about this subject because knowing what kind of eater I am has really given me the tools to make proper informed mindset choices around the types of food that I eat, when I eat, how I eat, what I say to people around food, all of that stuff, and the mindset that I have around certain situations and food, for example. So I am not going to say too much here because later on I'm going to tell you a bit more how you can get involved and work with me and my friend and colleague Rachel Collins. So here goes. Let's talk about the types of eaters. So there are 6 types of eaters. You've got emotional eater, angry eater, destructive eater, addictive eater, habitual eater, and ignorant eater. And just before I go on, I just want to give a shout out to anyone that's watching. We've got Myra McHale, Kevin Cherry, Mark Jeremy, and Harriet Mullen. Hi people, how are you doing? So I'll say that again. You've got emotional eater, angry eater, destructive eater, habitual eater, addictive eater, and ignorant eater. And if you want to know more, this is the book You Can Be Thin by Marisa Peer. So emotional eaters. Now, we could probably all relate to this, but emotional eaters are people who really need to feel full on the inside. If they're not full, there's a sense of almost panic that they're not safe. So these people need to feel full, to feel safe, content, and happy, because basically they're trying to recreate a feeling of safety. Okay, now the only food that's got fat and sugar combined is that of breast milk, right? So when you are craving fat and sugar, it's like a regressive act. You're thinking about, or you're going back to that very, very subconscious need, that subconscious feeling within you that needs to feel safe, because that's really the time when you felt the most safe, when you were on the boob. So that when I learned that, I was like, oh yeah, okay, so when I'm craving fat and sugar, I really just want to be on the boob. And I thought to myself, well, that's not very mature of me, is it? And so, you're able to rationalise with yourself and go, I don't need that because I'm a fully grown adult. So with emotional eaters, what we do in RTT is we give them a voice to express their emotions. And if you are an emotional eater, that's what you need to do instead. And you also need to look for other ways to feel safe and secure in yourself without the need for food. And also, food for emotional eaters can feel like home. It can feel like, oh, I belong here. This is my sense of belonging. This is my sense of connection. This is how I connect. And so with emotional eaters, what we like to do is really encourage them to make connections outside of food. So with hobbies, sports, arts and crafts, their businesses, other areas of their life really. And so I'm just going to read you a little case study from this book, just so that you can understand more deeply what emotional eating is like. So this is a verbatim. So Barbara had a very controlling mother. She was not put on a diet, but she was not allowed to eat any kind of sweets or biscuits. And her mother very, very strictly enforced this. And at school, if the children brought in birthday cake to share, she was not allowed any of it. And at birthday parties, she was not allowed any of the cakes or chocolates. Her mother could only enforce this when Barbara was small, but even in her teens, no sugar was allowed in the house. As soon as Barbara had her own money, she would buy as much confectionery as she could afford and eat it all at once, setting up a long-lasting sugar addiction. She was very overweight, but she could not stay on any diet, as the foods they forbade were the very same foods that her mother banned: sweets, biscuits, cakes, etc. So she linked pain to being denied them and pleasure to eating them. And the interesting thing about this is that you can only stop eating certain foods by choosing to, not by being made to. And I remember when I was little, one of my parents used to really forbid me to eat sugar, and as soon as I was 15 I used to go to the shop and buy shed loads of it and then stuff my face with it whilst watching TV. So I can very much relate to the emotional eater. Sorry, that was addictive eater, not emotional eater. I'm getting this a little bit wrong today. Sorry about that, but anyway, you get the idea. So let's talk about addictive eaters. So addictive eaters get high on sugar. They get high on energy drinks. They can't go a day without something sweet. Sugar is so addictive, isn't it? And often, they're always thinking about food. They need to eat food all the time. They always carry food in their pockets. They're frightened of their food being scarce. So, any type of emotional eater can become an addictive eater, because sugar is actually more addictive than crack cocaine, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware. But here's the thing, once you come off sugar, even broccoli tastes sweet. Trust me, I haven't eaten white refined sugar for a very long time, and now all my vegetables taste really, really sweet, and it's lovely. Fruit tastes sweet, carrots taste sweet, tomatoes are really sweet. It's really, really great. And really it only takes 21 days to come off sugar, to really kick the addiction. And you can wire into your mind, you can wire in healthy habits as well. So, you can create habits around drinking lots of water can be an addiction, or exercising can be an addiction, positive thinking can be an addiction. So it's really about the choices that you make, the decisions that you make. And I know sugar has such a hold over us, especially when we are in the thick of any kind of emotion, but it's really about what you want for yourself, what you choose for yourself. So the key is to try to make sugar unfamiliar in your life. When it's unfamiliar, you just don't even think about it. And then if you do happen to have sugar by mistake, if somebody puts sugar in your tea, it really tastes overly sweet and just disgusting. So it is possible to come off sugar. So let's go back. I'm going to read a little bit about emotional eaters. So sorry, I'm not doing very well today, am I? But that's okay, that's allowed. So emotional eaters need to feel full. When they don't feel full, they don't feel very content, they don't feel very happy. So emotional eating, it really is about feeling safe and secure. So I'm going to read you something here. Amy was an emotional eater who had an addiction to cakes. They are very, very interlinked. And she ate them daily, cakes and biscuits, and she ate them even more when she was unhappy, sad or bored. And her mother worked away a lot and didn't spend much time with Amy. But on special events like her birthday, she would put a lot of time and effort into making Amy a cake. And this made Amy feel very special. And it seemed that Amy tried to get that special feeling back by eating some of the same food that her mother made her when she was small. And since her mother's death, Amy had only wanted to eat cakes. So if our mothers make us rice pudding with strawberry jam or apple pie when we are unhappy, we often want those very same foods when we are feeling low again. So again, it's all part of breaking this pattern, which is very, very interesting. So mums, try not to soothe your children with sugary snacks. Get them to express their emotions instead. So the other types of eaters we've got then are destructive eaters, and destructive eaters will always try to sabotage their diet in order to remain big or unattractive. They eat healthy for a few months and then they go right back to eating unhealthy again. And sadly, this is because they need to be bigger. They need the weight in order to feel either bigger, safer or unattractive, possibly maybe to do with some kind of childhood abuse. So destructive eaters don't feel safe being slim. They're the kind of people who have to be big. Maybe they were bullied at school, maybe they were bullied by a teacher or parent, maybe they were abused. So what we do in RTT is give that part of them a voice so that they can dissolve or begin to dissolve some of those painful feelings around that and begin to feel like they're good enough without the weight, begin to feel like they're safe without the weight. And so, you know, destructive eaters will tend to reject compliments because they cannot be seen as sexy or attractive. And so when we're doing our RTT sessions, we definitely don't encourage our clients to think of themselves as sexy, because this is really, really painful for them actually. So it's really important, if you're a destructive eater, to really get to the root of why you need to be big, why you need the weight, what role, function and purpose is that weight having in your life. And then once you can see that, then the choice is yours. Then you can begin to decide to let that go if you want to. It's all about knowing why you are the way that you are and then deciding and choosing to do things differently. But the knowing why, I think, is just so important. So angry eaters then. So angry eaters eat after they've had an argument. When they're really, really angry, they tend to eat foods that are crunchy, like breads, apples, really cut crisps, like crunchy food. It's like the jaw, it's processing this anger. And so, yes, angry eaters really need another outlet for their anger. Exercise is good. Screaming into a pillow is really, really good. Talking it through, singing songs, dancing it through, so that you're not using food to express your emotions. And what we do in RTT is find out what lies beneath the anger. And so the other types of eaters, two more types. We've got habitual eaters. For habitual eaters, it's all about familiarity, what they do, what they've always done. And habitual eaters are the kind of eaters that say, I just cannot walk past a McDonald's without going in. I have to finish all of my food on my plate because I always have done. And what you find is people who are habitual eaters often have had like sibling rivalry. Maybe they couldn't stand up to an older sibling who used to steal all their food, or there wasn't any food left for them. And so there's this kind of real, because that's the way the brain is wired. The brain is wired for survival. And so people who are habitual eaters tend to have issues in their childhood around like needing to fight for food, if you like. And so once you understand where that came from, you can then again choose to dissolve it. I've written here, it's easy to create new habits. You just have to choose to decide to do it for your own good. And I think there's a case study in here, which I will read for you. So Liam was brought up as the youngest of 8 brothers and sisters. That's a lot. And food was put on the table, and the children grabbed what they could, and they ate quickly as they could to stop someone else taking more of their share. If ever there were seconds, the one who finished first got them. And because Liam was the smallest of his elder siblings, often took his food as he was too little to fight back. And as a result, Liam became an adult who rushed through his food and always ate as if it might run out or be taken away from him. You see where these patterns come from. They tend to always come from childhood programming. Okay, so the final one we've got here is ignorant eaters. And these are people who believe that diet food is healthy. They believe that counting calories is the way forward. They're very, very controlling around their foods. They think that low-fat diet foods, including margarine, is healthy, but really margarine's not. Margarine is just one molecule away from plastic, apparently, and so you don't really want that in your diet. Now, it's not those people's faults, because the diet industry, come on. You walk into a supermarket and we are so brainwashed with pseudo-healthy foods. Foods like Sunny Delight, which is like an fake kind of orange juice, which is kind of kept in the fridge, but it doesn't actually need to be kept in the fridge because it's not even food, or some blessed bread. And the industry give these foods like names which trick us into thinking they're healthy, like sun blessed with the power of the sun. But of course it's just highly refined grain, which is basically like sugar, really. So it's all about ignorant eaters really need to educate themselves on what is healthy and what is right for their body and what their body can actually use up. So there you go. Those are the types of eaters. I've taken all of that from Marisa Peer's book, You Can Be Thin, which I highly recommend buying if you do struggle with weight or if you struggle with your eating. So, as you've seen here, I come from a perspective of not telling you what to eat, but trying to understand why you eat. And if you can understand why you eat the way that you eat, then you're kind of getting to the root cause, and then it really is down to you to choose to eat differently, because you don't have to eat like that anymore. And a lot of my clients who come and see me have literally tried everything. They've tried every diet under the sun, every weight loss program under the sun, but it's not getting to the root cause. And so the mind just reverts back to the old way of eating. You've got to get to the root cause. You've got to shift those habitual patterns, again, by changing the language that you use in certain situations around food. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in another Facebook group that I have created with the amazing Rachel Collins, who is a functional medicine practitioner. So the group that we've created is called Slimmer You Forever, and it launches on the 25th of March. Now, you can go ahead and you can join the group, but the doors open on the 25th of March, and you will be in for a chance of winning a 3-month VIP support package from myself and from Rachel, where we will work closely with you to help you achieve weight reduction at a rate that is suitable for you. Because what you don't want to do is rush weight reduction. Your body will lose weight at a rate that is suitable for your body. If you try and force it, it will just think that there's something wrong and you'll put all the weight back on again. This is why diets do not work. We need a different approach to food, a different approach to weight reduction, one that is very, very supportive of our bodily systems. And so Rachel Collins knows a huge amount around that. And of course, I can help you with the emotional stuff underlying why the weight is there, and also help you with mindset and reframing certain food situations where you might come unstuck. So it's a 30-day program, a 30-day Kickstarter program to unlock the secrets of a slimmer you forever, learn the mindset hacks and educational truths that will help you to lay the foundations for reaching your healthy weight and staying there. So after these 30 days with us, you will love choosing healthy food over toxic food. You will banish your cravings for good, and you will believe and know that you've got everything inside of you to create the body and health that you want. So together we're going to be busting myths around food and dieting. We're going to help you harness the mind-body connection, because that's so important. And we're going to offer you support and motivation to get you started on your forever journey. So your commitment during this time is to show up for our weekly lives and to implement all of that training and to really shout about it in our group. Show us what you're eating. Tell us how you overcame a certain situation, and cheerlead and help each other on. And the person who has shown the most enthusiasm will win a 3-month VIP support package from me and Rachel. So it's amazing. All group join requests will be accepted in one go on the 25th of March. So there you have it. I hope you have enjoyed this Facebook Live. Thanks to Denise, Avis, Dave, Yosefa, Jai, I'm really sorry, Shauna, Taya Gray, Harriet Mullen. I've mentioned you guys before. So hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you again. Bye.